Welcome back to another episode of Love It or Shove It, where we are talking about love and relationship and how do we navigate our life better? How do we understand ourselves and understand our partner? And if this is the first time you're tuning in, welcome to this talk show. We've been here for a while, and we love all the fans that coming back, that sending us love. And we are here to show you what it means to actually continue discovering, because again, we are not the experts who don't navigate the reality. We are the people who navigate the reality, and we are doing the best out of that. And we are here just to have this conversation with each one of you. And if this is the first time, welcome. My name is Irina Portnova. I am actually helping you how to attract the partner that you truly desire, somebody who is actually there for you, somebody who checks all the boxes, because yes, you can have that partner who checks all the boxes. It doesn't have to be some, it can be all of them. And I am here to teach you how to do that, how to attract that person. And I'm here today with Bruno Gill, my co-host. Bruno.
Yeah, so my name's Bruno. Obviously, pretty much what Irina said, I guess. Not having a good day today, so yeah, I'm gonna be a little bit like unstable, I guess. But um, yeah, so my name's Bruno. I'm a self-love coach for women. I focus on helping women become more confident, more authentic, have more self-love, be more expressive, obviously towards what they really desire and just pretty much become their best selves, I guess. I think confidence is always something that, we all should strive to have. That kind of that fuck you confidence, like that's also something and that's kind of what I help a lot of women achieve with it, confidence to go back to the life they had, confidence to keep pursuing, keep doing, or just get to doing something they've never done before, confidence in trying new things, confidence in going after their dreams, after the money of their dreams, after the life of their dreams. Yeah, and so we work together, and obviously we take you as far as we possibly can, 100%.
Oh my God, who is in the house? Giovanni. It's all.
I think Irina's Wi-Fi just went down. So I guess that for now it's just me and you guys, which is fine, no problem. So, topic of today is choose yourself first. Now, Irina usually comes up with these amazing topics, right? And then she does a really, really good job. And when I think about choosing yourself first, a lot of times it really comes down with you prioritizing, obviously, your own life. This is something that like it absolutely relates, no doubt about it, towards what we do, right? I'm a self-love coach, right? So I mean, typically I work with this a lot with a lot of women, so I can give you a lot of good advice. To be fair, I do believe so. And so when it comes to choosing ourselves first, this means that you're no longer selfish towards yourself. You are caring and loving, and you're giving yourself the opportunity to finally focus on yourself after spending half of your life, if not your entire life, on other people. Okay. And this means that for that, you cut out a lot of things. The same way that you sacrificed your own wants and needs for others, you are now going to sacrifice their wants and needs from you, and you're going to focus on yours, right? And so, a lot the positives is that eventually you are building the life that you desire. But I think then, oh, there you go. Irina's
Oh my
back.
God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I was happy that you could continue because my
That's okay.
Wi-Fi in the neighborhood is not so
That's fine.
good. Sorry.
That's fine. As I know, but I was just saying that, obviously when it comes to choosing ourselves first, it comes a lot with, for most people, choosing themselves first means they chose other people all their lives. And so, the same way they sacrificed their wants and needs for the betterment of others, now they're going to sacrifice their wants and needs from others, and they're going to focus on theirs, right? And I think, it's a very beautiful road up ahead. And there is happiness in this world, and the happiness you get could be the validation you get from other people when you prioritize them over yourself. But the fulfillment you get from being happy, like the fulfillment you get from being happy and fulfilled with yourself because you finally feel like you belong in this world, or you finally feel like you have a life that you love belonging to, or you have a routine, or you have a body, or a mind, or a heart, or a soul that I guess you love belonging to, you know, is amazing. It's something that can't be beat. There's no amount of cars, there's no amount of money, there's no amount of houses, there's no amount of girls or guys that you can have liking you. There's no amount of fans, there's no amount of anything exterior that beats the feeling that you have of being fulfilled with the life you created, the life you chose, the life you made, the choices you made for yourself, and that every single sacrifice you made to make what you desire happen came to fruition. There's no better feeling. No doubt about it. There's no better feeling. And but that's what happens when you choose yourself first. Now, the consequences from it are probably the amount of people that are going to disappoint you, probably the amount of people who are going to abandon you, probably the amount of people who now in their eyes you're not good enough for them anymore because you're not doing anything for them anyways. And when the time comes for them to now support you, they won't, right? You'll have people like that, but you'll also hopefully have people, hopefully, that are the opposite, people that do like support you, people that do love you and go all in for you and tell you, look, you deserve a lot, you are an amazing person, you deserve to have this, you deserve to have that, you deserve to have your dreams achieved, the life you want achieved, so forth and so forth. Now, ultimately, yes, you are going to sacrifice people's wants and needs from you, and for a lot of people, it's probably going to be a shock, right? It's going to be like a massive change. And I want to mention something here before I give the mic to Irina. There's something about like moving in silence. There's something about moving in silence that speaks, you know, a lot, right? Because look, there's two types of people in this world that there's two types of people in this world, in this situation, where you tell them what you want to achieve and how you want to achieve it, right? Number one, there's people who you tell them that they don't give a fuck. They're just there to listen to you. Who gives a shit? And they'll forget about it. So who cares? There's people number one. And then people number two are people that deep down are hoping for you to fail anyways. Okay? And then you do have people number three who deep down actually care about you. But those people you count with your fingers. Okay? So doesn't matter. So on people number one and people number two, Giovanni said universe is hyped about this topic and the energies in the room that things are going to snap, crackle, and pop. I love that. I love that. That's awesome. That's fantastic. But yeah, right. And moving in silence a lot of times is one of the best things you'll ever do, right? Because um, I'll tell you what though, like if you channel the same amount of excitement and optimism and love within yourself into your work and focusing on yourself, you will get much more done than just simply saying it out loud to people who then again either hope you fucking fail or ain't gonna fucking remember and couldn't give two fucks about it anyways. Right? Um and yeah. And I think it's important because then again you have your boundaries, you're protecting yourself, you're loving yourself, There is such a thing as jinxing it, a jinx, right? Where you are setting fireworks before the party even starts, right? You're setting fireworks before the success actually comes. Now, Irina knows all about that, setting fireworks before the success even happens, That's what you call manifesting, right? You're already thinking you're
Mhm.
gonna win. But that's one thing is you setting those fireworks for yourself. You write it down, know what you want. You live in that emotion, you live in that vibration, you live in that feeling. You do the actions that you would do if you had already achieved your desire. But that's you doing it with yourself. That's not you speaking to other people, right? So yeah, I mean, for me, I think choosing yourself first, a big part of it comes like moving in silence. It like comes a lot with redefining. I wouldn't say every single part of yourself, but a big part of yourself, changing as a person, going through that evolution, becoming a better version of yourself, learning more, being more, acting more, right? Finally choosing yourself, prioritizing yourself, you know. And I learned that the hard way that I would rather be by myself and choosing myself first than be choosing dozens, if not hundreds, of people around me, and I'm still alone. And I'm just miserable, and I'm helping everybody get their shit. Nobody helping me getting my shit, right? So you're always there for other people. Nobody's there for you. Fuck is that shit? Who cares? Fuck is that? That's just stupid, right? So you gotta prioritize yourself. You know,
All right.
and
Can I say?
100%. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just first of all, I wanted to open up. Giovanni, it's always great to have you, but I wanted to take it from another perspective because we are actually talking it in the context of relationship rather
yeah,
than
of
just,
course.
yes, self-love is important,
It goes
but I
both ways,
want
though.
to
To be
take
fair, yeah.
it I want to take it from the angle of the relationship because if I ask everybody who's tuning in, who is going to listen in the replay or live with us, how many times have you waited for someone else to choose you, to make the time for you, to prioritize you, to notice your effort, to finally show up the way you've been hoping they would? And while you were waiting, did you stop choosing yourself? Did you put your own happiness on hold? Did
Mm,
you silence your needs to keep the peace? And this is the truth that the healthiest relationships aren't built by one person chasing the other. They are
mm,
built by two people who know their own worth and intentionally choose each other. So
mhm.
that's exactly what I wanted to bring on the table when we are talking about choosing yourself first. Not because, like we are not aware that we have to choose ourselves, but because we should never lose ourselves trying to be loved by somebody else.
Yep.
So I wanted to take it from the perspective of the woman, from my life experience, because I'm talking right now more to women who can connect to that kind of experience. We were raised, we were brought up to be the nurturers. And sometimes we are staying too long in the situation where there is no point to stay and it's the time to move on because again we were told let's work it out, especially if we are having the family. I have experienced that in my marriage for many years, and I also had the experience after marriage. So the idea is if the person is not choosing you, there is no point to choose the person. And again, you always have to check in to see if that person you are in with is actually there for you, because it's one thing when people are saying something and it's another thing the way that they show up in the reality,
Mhm.
because sometimes we slowly give pieces of ourselves away. We stop speaking up, we stop sharing our dreams, we stop asking for what we truly need, and we
Mhm.
convince ourselves that keeping the relationship means keeping quiet.
Mm.
But always agreeing with your partner just to avoid the conflict, it's again, it's abandoning ourselves,
Mm,
right? You
mhm,
say yes when you really mean no. You go alone with plans that don't excite you. And over time, your partner falls in love with the version of you that isn't fully you.
mm,
And then you start wondering, when did that stop? When did I stop to actually honoring myself? When did I stop to recognize myself?
mhm,
So the goal of love isn't to become less of yourself. It's actually to become more of yourself
mhm.
with someone who celebrates that.
Right.
So again, it's all about understanding that you don't want to be with the person where you have to shrink yourself. You do not want to be with the person who is not prioritizing you, because again, it's two ways. When I'm talking about choosing yourself, it doesn't mean that it's only me. When we are talking about the relationship, it's two people consciously choosing themselves, right? And choosing each other in the
Mm,
partnership. It's not
mm,
that, like, I'm just choosing myself because I want to love myself more. Than, like, go ahead and continue loving yourself. You do not need the partner for that. But when people are
exactly.
choosing to be in the relationship, it's the conscious decision and it's the conscious commitment. And it
Mm,
is the commitment. That means
mm,
that we are choosing the partner every day, right? We are
mm,
choosing to stay in that partnership. And
mhm,
honoring our own needs teaches us others how to honor you, right?
mhm,
Because people don't always know what's important to you unless you actually verbalize it, unless you talk about it, unless you express, right? So
mhm.
the idea is, if we are so scared that we are going to lose the partner, that means that that was never our partner, because the right person will always work things out. The right person would not leave you alone in cold, thinking that, maybe you are going to come to your senses and come back. The right partner would actually be curious how to make things work. The right partner would choose you over everybody else. That is the way how I see the partnership. And again, if that person did not choose you, that means that you have to prioritize yourself, because again, you are the only one for yourself.
Mhm. Good. Awesome. Great. So, I mean, I do agree with what you're saying. I mean, honestly, like the way I see it, I mean, I don't see it in another way. Like, I just say something though. You staying in something that is not for you, it's your problem. It's me staying in something that is not for me, it's my problem. People staying in something that they don't want to be in, it's their problem, right? So the more accountability we take, the better. Because at the end of the day, there's when for example when we speak about accountability, right? There's a very 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 thin line in between accountability and choosing yourself first. And a lot of times, whether you're in a relationship or not, you should always feel and be accountable for the things you say, for the things you do, and how long you have something last that you don't even want to be on in the first place, because you're either not being treated the way you want to be treated, because you're not listening to the things you want to listen to, because you're not being taken to the places that you want to be taken to, because you're not being gifted the things you want to be gifted. It is your problem. It is your fault. Now, could the guy or the woman treat you better? Of course, 100%. But when it comes to the way you're being treated, ain't nobody gonna come along, get you out of bed and say, "Here, I'm gonna make that decision for you." No, that's bullshit, obviously. And so, like, I think ultimately for me, like, for example, you're talking about, obviously, how you stayed in situations that you weren't obviously very happy with. And I completely understand, because if it was me, I wouldn't stay in that situation as well, right? So, simple. That's just what it is, right? We're always choosing ourselves first, but then again, it's like, then again, you staying in a situation where you don't like, and you stay in it for long, it's a you problem. Me staying in a situation I don't like, right, uh, for too long, it's a me problem, right? People staying in a situation where people don't like it's their problem, right? So I mean, ultimately, we're always learning. We're always like, I believe that we're always learning. Although some people have no fucking character development, but that's another story for another time. Um, and it's just one of those things where like you're either adapting and you're growing, and you're going through that evolution, and you're choosing yourself more, right? Or you're pretty much just you're just teaching the other person that you tolerate that behavior, that you tolerate not being treated the way you want to be treated, that you tolerate not being spoken to the way you don't want, that you're tolerating actually being spoken the way you don't want to, right? So that you tolerate like not having the relationship that you desire, right? And so those things, they all need to be addressed. Simple. Those things, they all need to be addressed. Now, you know, I think that at the end of the day, yes, in a relationship, people make couple decisions, people make collective decisions, right? There are certain decisions in relationships, if not most, where yes, both people have to agree to move on. But when you're thinking about yourself and only yourself in a relationship, and you're looking to this like, if this is this still something that I'd be in, right? Then that's a you decision. That's your decision. That's a decision that only you and yourself are accountable for, because you're the person who feels like that, and you're the person who thinks that, and you're the person who sees things that way, right? Now, to be fair, if you're in a situation, this is what I believe. If you're in a situation where you're thinking if you still want that relationship, if you still want to be in that relationship, it's probably because you don't, and you just don't want to accept it, and you don't want to admit it, right? So you let shit pile up, and then it becomes so much that you can't take it anymore, and then you just end things. Simple. Because if you're in a relationship where you were happy and where you were fulfilled, then to be fair, those thoughts, the thoughts and the feelings, and like the doubts of, do I still want to be in this? It would, if you were truly happy and truly fulfilled in that relationship, that would never cross your fucking mind, right? And if anybody asks you, are you happy and fulfilled in the relationship, the first thing you fucking say is yes, of course. So if those things are coming to your mind, such as, do I still want to be in this, is because you don't want to. Because you either do or you don't. There is no in between, right? There is just like, in things like this that can be seen as big decisions in life, it's either a yes or it's either a no. That's it. Simply, you either feel it or you don't feel it. You either want to be in it or you don't want to be it. And that's it. If you do, great. If you don't. That's it. But we should always be accountable for that. And in this case, and in all cases, taking accountability for ourselves is choosing yourself first. And you should not stay in a situation where you're not happy and you're not fulfilled, and you should either go and searching within yourself what you actually want for the time of your life that you're in. And that's perfectly fine. That's fine. That is perfectly okay, because if that is your choice and you think that's the best thing, then that's the thing you should do for yourself, right? Which I do believe everybody who is smart enough to understand, okay, I'm not happy anymore in this, I have verbalized my unhappiness and nothing changed. I think it's time for me to just go, right? And that's it. You know, Simple, right? I have been, I've been, I haven't had that many relationships in my life. I'm not really going in and out as much as I want. That's not the way I see myself. You know, I rather prioritize other things in my life than that. Um, but what I do know is that I've never stayed in a situation where I didn't want to stay in. And I also have told people multiple times, if you are unhappy, then, that's perfectly okay. Simple. That's no problem.
Oh my God, I love what Giovanni says. So true. When a
Amazing.
relationship becomes very dramatic, it's because one partner quit participating and the other tries to recall the other back into participation, though they may have stuck around physically. What will give us mastery in our relationships? Recall yourself to active participation back into the relationship. I love, Giovanni, everything what you're saying. That's it. If you are powerful enough to quit participating, you are powerful enough to recall yourself back into participation. However, when you do, you will have to confide, I guess. So, what I wanted to say, first of all, I disagree with you, Bruno, regarding saying if you feel doubt, then you do not have to be with that partner. Why I'm talking about that? Because I'm talking from the experience. Being married for
Totally
24
understand.
years, there is no such a thing that all the time is butterflies and rainbow, but it does not
Of course.
mean that once you start doubting something, it's the time to pack and go. And that's why a lot
Of
of
course.
relationships are not surviving because they do not know how to navigate and actually finding the way to come together to actually reconcile to do things right because
Yeah.
again
100%.
choosing yourself is like also doing it consciously, not just like throw in the towel and say, you know what,
Yeah.
if that person doesn't agree the way that I want, I'm just going to leave. And that person is going, the one that leaves is going to repeat the same mistakes because again they have not done any inner work. They do not understand whatever it is in any partnership, in any relationship. The longer you stay, the more like the more trial and tribulations you're going to go through. So
Hmm.
the thing is not that you quit and pack your bags the minute that you realize, like starting to doubt yourself. It's more about understanding why you started to doubt yourself and
Hmm.
have the courage to face your partner and have the heart to heart conversation. Doesn't matter how difficult the conversations could be, but that's exactly what it is, right? So
Of
again,
course.
and another thing I wanted to say, there is no such a thing as somebody's problem or somebody's fault. Like
Right.
I really want people to feel, love from our channel. So it's not like
Hmm.
we are saying, okay, it's your fault, it's your problem. No, I want
No, but it's
people
true.
to feel that, listen, we all have been in different positions and we are not better than others, right? An
Of
idea
course,
is
no.
that
Of course.
it just,
Of course. No.
like navigating, this is the mastery, navigating, because everybody can just like put the hands up and say I'm just choosing myself and everything else just like I leave the fire behind me. Anybody can do it, but it's the skill, it's the mastery to be able to diplomatically navigate anything what people are going into the relationship. And you said it perfectly last time in our live, saying, do not fall for potential. So true, because you can waste years waiting for the person who promises one thing but is not doing anything. And that is something I'm learning the hard way. And this is something that I would never go back to. So
Right.
again, it's just like understanding that you've gotta know exactly what you want, and you can, like literally say what you want. And then I go back to what you said before as well, saying if
Yeah.
somebody wanted, they would do it. And it
Hmm.
really, like sink into me. That's so true. So
Exactly.
why would I want to stay with the person who can but doesn't do that, right? It also
Hmm.
tells me a lot.
Of course.
So
Yeah. No,
when we
100%.
say,
No,
when
I
we
mean, you're
say,
correct. You're 100% correct. But I'm just gonna tell you something here. Uh, I wasn't referring myself to your marriage. You said that in your marriage and after your marriage, you kind of saw different things, kind of like that. I was telling you after your marriage, right? So that's number one. Then number two, I was saying that when it comes to obviously people being accountable and you saying, if there's any doubts and stuff, that's not something that you just quit. I also didn't say that. I didn't say that you just quit. I said that if you stay in something for too long, where you kind of already have proof and you kind of already verbalize something, you leave because there is no change of behavior, right? And change of behavior doesn't happen in a day or in a couple of seconds or in a weeks. It happens in months. right? After you say the same thing over and over and over again, right? Um, so yeah, and then number three, it's also the fact that it is people's problems. And this thing about like protecting people and stuff, and we don't want to make people feel alone. Okay, I understand. It's not about making people feel alone. It's about people understanding that, yeah, it is a problem, but that doesn't mean it's an impossible problem to solve, right? My problem is not your problem. Or is it? Is my problem your problem? Is your problem my problem? I don't think it is. No, my problem is my problem. Your problem is your problem, and people's problems are people's problems, right?
Hey,
So,
Zaina,
you know,
welcome.
ultimately, ultimately, I think that, like, you know, I was saying it more from the point of accountability where, yes, like, whether if it's me, whether if it's you, whether if it's people, we all have to be accountable for what we want. And then again, I say, if there is a behavior that is not changing in a relationship and you verbalize it more than once, right, and nothing changed, then it is ultimately your accountability and your accountability alone to get out of that situation. Simple. That's it, right? And so if you did that, congratulations, because you did the right thing, right? Now, um, ultimately, when you are in a marriage, things become a little bit harder, right? It's not that it becomes hard to choose yourself first in a relationship, in a marriage, I guess, in a marriage. That it's not that it becomes hard. It's that it becomes hard to prioritize, right? Because you have your husband or your wife, or and then you want to do family activities, right? And you want to spend time with your kids, right? You're not prioritizing yourself, you're prioritizing the people in your family, because those are the people that matter to you the most, and that's where you believe your time should be put to the best. And so in this situation, I just feel like it's just very important to find someone, honestly, who sees the time that you spend also with yourself as a time where it's also important, where it's not just you, it's also me, and by a person also being able to choose themselves, they can also choose their partner can also choose themselves as well. And so there's times where you guys are together, there's times where you guys are separate, but all this time is quality time, whether you're spending that quality time on yourself or you're spending that quality time with your partner, right? But all those things, they should always be discussed. And then again, I say, it's ultimately your accountability, and it's ultimately your problem. If you have stayed in a situation where you have spent too much time tolerating behavior that you didn't want to, that is not the other person's fault just as much as it is yours. uh, the person is operating from their level of understanding. That person is operating from their level of wants and needs and what they prioritize. And so if you feel like the person is not prioritizing the way that you really should be, prioritized, that you believe you should be prioritized, then again, I say it is ultimately your accountability to leave and just go. After, of course, a long time, after some time of you verbalizing it multiple times, right? And then again, that's not going to be in a day, that's not going to be in a week, it's not going to be in a month. Change takes time, but you truly see like who really wants to change and who really doesn't want to change. And that's it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's for me that's understanding like really how you can really choose yourself on that, right? Because you're either choosing yourself on that, or you're choosing like tolerating and like just ignoring and avoiding. Like you either choose yourself or you avoid the hard conversations, you ignore the hard conversations, right? And you don't face them, and that's never going to change, you know and ultimately, I think for a lot of people, I think what happens in a lot of marriages is that people get to
How
a
would
point
you know
where,
what happens in a lot of marriages? You've never been married, Bruno. Let's
I know,
talk from the
but,
experience.
but my parents have been married and they divorced, right?
Yeah, but
And
it's your parents.
exactly,
You
yes, of course,
haven't
yes, no, of course,
experienced
of course,
that.
of course, my parents have been divorced, They are the worst. And and I understand from that because I know the things I've seen, I know the things I've listened when I was
Yeah,
growing up.
but let's talk
Yes, that
about our experience
of
because
course
it's
I'll talk
easy
about
to
what I
say
want to talk about.
something when we do
I'll talk
not
about what
really
I want to
know.
talk about. If I want to talk about, if I'll talk about what I want to talk about, that's number one.
All
Done.
right, so I'm just going
But
to wrap up because we are
but
running
I,
out
I
of
haven't
time.
finished yet. But I haven't finished. Let me just
Yeah,
give me
but
like 2 more
it's
minutes.
time.
But just give me two
It's
more
time.
minutes. Just wait. Just give me
Okay.
2 more minutes.
All right.
So yes. So um yeah, I've seen what I've seen. I've heard also multiple women, multiple men talking to me about their situation and stuff. And most of what obviously people have told me is that look, you verbalize the things you verbalize, and you don't really sacrifice anything uh, until you understand that you can't take it anymore. You know, you think that you would be the one ruining the marriage because like you have kids and you've been together for so long and all these things. Um, and ultimately, you just get to a point where there was never any change, and people just end up really, yeah, like just grow separate, right? People just grow in their separate ways. And yeah, I guess like when people grow in their separate ways, there's either like people choose to choose each other. They choose to choose themselves, but they choose to choose each other. People are open-minded enough to do that, or people just kind of grow separate. But yeah, that's it. Now you can wrap up.
All right, so I just wanted to wrap up on today's episode why the strongest relationships are built by two people who intentionally choose themselves and then choose each other. Because the healthiest couples don't lose themselves in the relationship, they bring their fullest selves into that relationship. Imagine two people who each have passions, friendships, dreams, and personal goals. They actually encourage each other, they celebrate each other's wins, they make time for themselves and intentionally make time for each other, and every day becomes a conscious choice. I choose to support you, I choose to listen to your needs, I choose us, not because they have to do that, but because they genuinely want to do that. So that's what lasting love looks like. And again, choosing yourself, making sure we are not get lost into the promises or potentials, and we know exactly what we desire, and just keep choosing yourselves, and do not wait until somebody choose you. So that's my message for today. It was a great episode. Thanks so much, Bruno, for participation. Thank you so much, Giovanni. It was great to see you. Thanks so much, Zaina. And we'll see you on the next episode. And again, if that episode stirred something and you feel like there is somebody who would love to watch it, please share. And we'll see you next week. All right. All the best. Bye.